But like 2 seconds after I'd said that, I was like, well, this is over. This was the dumbest thing you could have said, Kelly. And you're just feeling like, oh yeah, I'm gonna act a bunch. Like, I'm gonna get to act in all of these scenes and stuff. No, not really. It's gonna be weird stuff, man. It's gonna be really weird stuff. Hi, my name is Kelly, and this is my drama school audition experience. Now, if you are wondering if I got in or not, I did not get in, but I still think that the experience is worth sharing anyway. And I will say that even though I did not get in, I'm still an actor today. So I would say right now I am a freelance actor, and I do a lot of voice work in both Estonian and English. That's kind of my everyday. The only reason for that really, and why it's not some other kind of medium, is because voiceover is just the most accessible for me right now. But I do want to get work in other mediums as well, so I'm not just a voice actor. I'm still an actor even though I didn't get in. And I think there are probably a lot of people out there who want to go to drama school, or you want to try out for the exams, and you're wondering, what is that going to be like? I will say this is going to be a long one, so I don't blame you if you don't want to stick around for the whole thing. But I do hope you get something out of it, especially if you are here because you really want to try out for these exams. First of all, I have a bunch of notes here, because otherwise I will just go off on 47 tangents and I will never come back. I will never return. My plan for this video is just to tell you more or less everything and anything that I can remember that could be important. And the second thing is that since I am an Estonian, and this is a school in Estonia, I cannot, if you are from somewhere else, I do still hope that you get something out of this video. But I've not been to other schools in different countries, so I cannot speak to those experiences. They might differ from mine. Or maybe it's very similar. I don't know. But I do think that acting is acting, and you're probably still going to get something out of this that might help you prepare for what might come up, or just the spirit of what it is like to go there and do that. Everything began in, I think it was around 2019, and I was around 21 or 22 at the time. And I don't know about other countries, but in Estonia I have heard that there is some ageism going on here. Acting schools tend to kind of want to go like when you're right out of high school, so like 18 or something. They want to get you early. I heard a story one time that there was a person in their 30s who went to try out for drama school, and actually the auditions went really well for this person, but they didn't get in the end. And the feedback was just like, oh, everything was really great, but where were you for all of these years? I don't understand this, because when I was 18, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. So there was no way that I was going to show up there and be like, I want to be an actor, because I didn't know that I wanted to be an actor. I don't get that. I think that anyone of any age and any background should be able to just go whenever and be accepted and be taught. But the preparation itself, like, there are some materials that you did have to prepare, like 1 or 2 monologues, and then a couple of poems, and then a song that you could decide to, sing a cappella or with an instrument. I started preparing for this like several months ahead of time. The hardest thing about this I mean, the monologues and the poems and that stuff, I feel like that's pretty common, regular for acting anyway. So that was not a surprise to me that you would have to have these things ready to go. And I did expect the singing. Now, I'm not the greatest singer in the world by any means, but this was just a requirement. You had to do this. So, okay, let's pick a song. But because I knew that I'm not a singer, I am definitely not going to do this a cappella, because then I have no guide at all. I have to be my own guide. And so I decided I am going to use an instrument, and my instrument was going to be a guitar. The only problem with this plan is that I can't play. Very sorry to all the people that maybe thought that I was going to play this right now. I have to sorely disappoint you. I can't. Even though this, looks very cool and very blue, and I love it. And maybe one day I will be able to play it, but right now I'm not. And back then I really was not. But I just got it in my head that the song was the one thing that I was like stuck on. Everything else, okay, fine. But I did not want to perform in front of people and did not want to be singing in front of people, but I knew that this had to be done. So I decided I'm going to learn to play something on this guitar. So as I was trying to pick a song to play on this, obviously it had to be simple enough for a beginner to be able to do it. But I also wanted it to be a song that I actually liked. And so I tried with this song, with that song, and well, it turns out there are not that many songs like any at all, from what I could find, that a complete beginner who does not play guitar at all would be able to perform to an acceptable standard. So this was a problem. My solution was, well, I suppose it was kind of stupid. I decided I'm just gonna make my own song then, if I can't play anybody else's. I'm gonna have to make up chords for it and play it somehow. Here's right now playing footage of me playing a song that I made up myself. I really don't think I'm gonna play this with sound, but the only reason I even have that video is because I needed a way to remember so I could practice later on what I did, like what my song was and what the chords were, because those are not some kind of real chords, at least I don't think that they are. They are just my fingers on a fretboard making sounds. And that's something that I practiced for months and months and months. I really did take my time with practicing this. It begins. Now comes the time to actually go and do the audition. And I remember I had my mom take me there, because this was 3 days. It was in another town, and the town is quite far away from where we live, 2 and maybe more hours away, which is not a lot for Americans, if any American is watching this, but for Europeans, you know what I'm talking about. We consider that distance to be far. We don't drive distances like that, like hardly ever. The auditions would take place like very early in the morning. They would start. This meant getting up at like 5 a.m. every morning, driving 2 hours to the other town, and then by 7 they would start, something like that. There were like 100 people that were trying for the actors' spots, and then there were 6 people who were going for the directors' spots, because those two were open at the same time. Like the 2 branches open at the same time. For a lot of people, that's not a lot of people at all, especially from like, if you're from a bigger country, you're like, oh, that's nothing, 100 people. But for Estonia, that is a lot of people. And especially because it's like the room that we were, it wasn't very big at all. So if you're in a room that's not very big at all, then you really get a sense for how many people, like just how many people are 100 people. The first thing, before we even had the first day of like actual auditions, we had the introductory day. This was not mandatory to go to, but I went anyway because I have considerable social anxiety, and I just needed to know what's what. I needed to know what the place looks like, where is everything going to be, who's going to be there, all that. I just needed to see it. I mean, they said that, oh, this is just an introduction day and you're not going to be judged for anything. And I am a little bit doubtful that we were not judged at all, because, or at least for the people that did go to this day. I will explain to you in a minute why. But first I will explain to you what this involved. So firstly, we would meet the jury that would be judging us throughout these auditions. And we got to see the room that it was going to take place in. And it was like this, from what I remember, it was like a big room, like black walls, like projector kind of lighting all over it. It was like a huge auditorium where the stage would be right here, and you would stand on the stage. Then in front of you would be the jury, and then to the right of you would be a huge ass camera capturing all of this, and then the projectors all like on you, shining onto you. And then there were audience seats that went like up, like stairs, kind of like in a cinema. The auditions were open, so anybody could come and see them. And obviously some of the students showed up to see the new blood there. And just anybody that wanted to watch this happen. The jury would just be like important people at the school. I don't remember their exact professions, but I have to imagine that it was like the director of the school, and then the person who was like the head professor of the acting branch there. And then there was at least one person who was like an actual real world actor in Estonia, very known actor, who was also part of the jury. That, I think, is probably pretty normal and something that I guess you might expect also. Just to see people there who are influential, known, actual actors who are going to come there and judge you. And because a lot of them do like teach courses at schools like this. Yeah, they might be asked to just come and judge you. And just the universe have mercy on your soul if it happens to be an actor that you, I don't know, maybe like a lot, or maybe it's your favorite actor and they're just there judging you like, hey, I'm here. And you just show up like, oh my God, I have to do all these things now, and so is there judging me. Great. But so, yeah, we would just meet up with the jury, and we would have like this little circle with the people who were there, and we would just introduce ourselves, and they would just like ask us to talk about ourselves a little bit. There were actually a few people there who this was like their second or even third time going for a drama school audition. Like this was their second time there, let's say. And there, yeah, we're more than a few people like that. So we just went around and introduced ourselves, and at the time I was already doing voiceover, so I said that I did voiceover, and then the jury was just like, oh, so you're really good at doing all these different voices and stuff. Like, I've never been good at doing like many different voices or lots of impressions or nothing like that. Because they were like, oh, you can do all these cool impressions, and I'm like, no, not really. I think I said something like, the thing that I'm better at is like authentic, real characters, like not really these like cartoon voices and things like that, like can't really do them. And then we got to do an exercise, which is exactly why I don't think it's entirely accurate that they weren't judging us like at all. Because as I told you, there was this big ass camera in the room capturing all of this. And just like on a real film set, they put the tape on the ground, you know, to mark the spot where you have to stand. The camera is filming you, right? Like this camera is filming me right now. You walk up to the camera, you stop at the spot, and of course you can't look where the spot is because then your eyes go down and nobody wants that. So yeah, you have to somehow do it without looking down. But you stop at the spot. The task was to come up with a line to say to somebody. Could be anyone, could be whatever line, anything that you wanted to say, but it just had to be like something real and authentic. Next to the camera, they put another tape, like a cross, on the wall, and they were like, this cross is your scene partner. So you have to walk up to the tape on the ground, stop, look at the cross on the wall, turn around and start walking away, and then make it feel as if you are like kind of changing your mind at the last second. Then turn around again, look at the cross, and then say your line, whatever it is that you're gonna say. And of course, ignore the camera. Don't look down the lens like I'm looking right now. So then we all just had to do that. I mean, try to come up with something good or real or authentic to say, like on the spot. It's not really that easy, is it? We were not prepared for this. Like, this was just a task. And I don't remember what I said in the end, but I do remember that it was kind of weird because I think a lot of other people went for like really like sort of easy sentences like, oh, this, I don't know, I like this ice cream, or, you know, something like that. I tried to really imagine like a real situation and like a real person and like somebody in my life at the time, and like tried to say something to them. And because I was going through lots of emotions in my like personal life, then something about it just like came out really intense. And maybe too intense, because like afterwards, we didn't really do any other exercises or tasks that day. But afterwards, I remember feeling like people were kind of looking at me a little weirdly. So I don't know, it must have been really weird. Whatever I did there must have been really weird. Then they introduced their process for how they're gonna announce the people who get through to the next round, because every single day they would announce at the end of the day who got through to the next round. So again, they were saying, we're not judging you, but basically here's the list of people we would like to see again tomorrow, when the real thing begins. You were not judging us, really? I don't know, I'm not buying that, really. But basically, they would print out this list of names and put it up on a pole, which the pole was like in the middle of the room where we were waiting. So they would put it up there, and then you would go and you would see if your name is there. And that would show you if you got through or not. So I went and I saw my name was there. Okay, great, so we're actually doing this. So moving on to day 1, the official day now begins. The official audition now begins. Again, got there 7 in the morning-ish. We all gathered in that big black room and they would explain kind of the agenda of how these auditions were set up. And I remember their main thing was like, we're just trying to give you a taste of what it's like to study at the school if you were to get in. Okay. It was extremely stressful, I'm not gonna lie. It is genuinely one of the most stressful things I have ever done in my life, was this drama school audition. From what I remember, they divided us into like smaller groups because, again, I said there were 100 people, so they kind of had to do that. And they assigned times for each group. So it would be like, say that I was like group number 1, and then like 20 or 30 other people were also group number 1. And then they would like give us these times of like group number 1, like from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., let's say. That's how long your first day is. And then group 2, group 3, all that. But you still had to stay there until the end of the day just to see if your name is on the poll. So what I remember from this first day, the tasks, this first day, I admit it is very hazy. And I don't, like, it's very foggy. I don't remember that much. But I remember there were more things than the things I'm going to talk about. So just remember that. It wasn't all that easy, I guess. Nothing about this was easy. Like, not a single thing was easy. I think I should be very clear about this. Like, it was very... Overall, it felt very weird. And if you think that you're going to drama school and you're just feeling like, oh yeah, I'm gonna act a bunch of, like, I'm gonna get to act in all of these scenes and stuff. No, not really. It's gonna be weird stuff, man. It's gonna be really weird stuff. So I just want you to keep that in mind. It's not really gonna feel like you're acting, to be honest. So out of the, like, say 20 people that were in my group with me, they would take us 3 at a time, and then they would invite the 3 in at the same time. This was kind of fun because I felt like I got along pretty well with the 2 of them, and we had a lot of fun just waiting for our time. And obviously nobody tells you what's gonna happen. No one ever tells you what is waiting for you behind that door to the black room. And so whenever we saw like other groups come out, we would like try to ask like, what did you have to do? And everyone was just kind of like, And so we never really got like a clear answer. So not very reassuring. I have to say. When you go in there this time around, it feels like the room is different because now it's all set up for the audition. Now it's not like, oh, it's just a friendly environment, we're just talking. No, now it's the real deal. Now you really have to do the thing, right? So it feels like going onto a real stage. It's this big ass room, projectors in your face, camera, big ass camera going over here, jury over here, the audience, whoever came to see, lots of students who were already studying at the school came to see, some other actors, like actual known actors being in movies, came to see, and it was just the 3 of us standing there. Then they gave us exercises to do. And this part is what's very foggy for me. I don't really remember exactly what we had to do, but I remember like one of the exercises They were all weird, I will say that much. Nothing ever felt like we were acting anything, ever. But one of the exercises, for example, that we had to do, or what I remember of it anyway, was like there were like these statues. Let's call them statues, because I can't even remember really well what they were. But like statues with like clothes on them. And then the task was to just go from statue to statue and like pick out an item to wear and then like put it on yourself and then move on to the next statue. But as you are doing that, you have to keep talking. So just keep talking. You cannot stop talking at any point. And it doesn't matter what you're talking about, but you just have to be talking. And everybody's doing that at the same time. Like me and the other two actors are doing that at the same time. If you ask me what was the point of that exercise, I don't really know. Honestly, I don't know what was really the point of any task that we had to do. And I'm sure that this was not even all of it. I just can't remember the details of like what came next. Or I do remember that we had to like discuss something about like our choices, like why we picked the clothes we picked, or something like that. You see, I can't remember at all. But I remember that we had to keep on talking, and they like upped the difficulty somehow. And then the other thing that I remember just from that moment of all three of us being in there was them just like asking us questions. And they felt like kind of random questions, but I guess maybe they weren't. It's really hard to say. But one of the questions I remember was that, so there was this poster downstairs in the lobby. And on it, there is an acronym. And what do you think this acronym stands for? And they would give us the acronym. I'd not seen any damn poster. I did not know what they were talking about. Because when you go to this thing, all you're really thinking about are the materials that you have prepared, right? You have to make sure that you remember them. Then there's the pressure of the environment, so many people there. And if you're introverted like me, you are going to be so overwhelmed. Like all of your senses are going to be so overwhelmed in this environment that you're not going to be really noticing all the posters on the wall and stuff. So I had no idea what they were talking about. Poster on a wall with an acronym? What does the acronym stand for? And I was happy to see that the other actors didn't remember that either, that poster. And they just kind of guessed. And I think one of them guessed correctly. But so they would just like ask each of us, like, what do you think that acronym stands for? And I think at first I said, like, I really have no idea. And they were like, well, just guess. Just guess. And oh my God, I don't even want to say my answer because it's so embarrassing. But I'm trying to tell this story exactly how it went. So I'm going to tell you even the embarrassing things. So, and I said that the acronym stands for the sexiest man of Estonia. Can you believe that? I cannot believe I said that. And first of all, I don't know where I got that from, because like I'm gay as fuck. So why, I don't know. I really don't know. But like 2 seconds after I'd said that, I was like, well, this is over. This was the dumbest thing you could have said, Kelly. Anything but that. Why did you say that? Why? And like, it got laughs in the room, and so I guess it was funny, but like I was really like grasping at straws here, and I was like, wow. And especially because after me, I think the third actor actually said the correct thing, and it was like some institution in Estonia, which makes perfect sense. Why didn't I think of that? But your brain is just so like frazzled and fried in that environment that that's just what I said. And so I was like, sure, well, this is done. It's just over. I'm going home now. And then later on, I thought, like, well, this was either very creative, or incredibly idiotic. I did not look very cultured at all in that moment. So yeah, I thought I was done for. And then came the second thing that we had to do, which was the interview. Now this was finally the part where we had to perform the things that we had actually prepared, that we spent all these months preparing. And the interview, of course, you have to go in completely alone. Just remember again, big black room, projectors in your face, big ass camera over here, jury in front of you, this audience of people in front of you, and now you're there completely alone. And I think they had me do like one of the monologues that I had prepared. Maybe they had me do like one poem of the ones that I had. And then came the song part. And I told you at the start of this that like I practiced on this guitar. I practiced for months and months and months just to be able to sing one song kind of okay-ish, maybe. And then they were like, okay, so let's do the song part now. And so, like, just sing it. And I'm like, bruh. Months I practiced on this thing. I don't even play it. And I knew, like, I just knew that the song, like, if I have to sing this a cappella, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work in the least. I just knew that. And so I really, like, asked them, like, could I please play it on a guitar? And they really didn't want to let me. And I actually get why, because obviously, you know, they're short on time. So they may have just decided differently from what their initial requirements had been that you could choose. They had just decided differently that now you can't choose. And so that makes sense with so many people there. The stubbornness in me really came out. I'm a Taurus, so I'm a very stubborn sign as well. So, and that really came out in that moment. And I was like, no, like I didn't say it like that to them, but in my head I was like, no, I practiced for months. I really want to play this on guitar because otherwise it's like gonna suck even more than it already sucks. And I was just willing to die on that hill, apparently. And I remember one of the jury was like, honestly getting kind of annoyed with me, like, no, you're not doing it on the guitar and just sing it a cappella. And then one of the other members of the jury came in, and this was one of the actors, like the real life actors that like I'd seen in movies and stuff. And he seemed like kind of very amused by this whole situation. So he was like, you know what? Go and get your guitar. Let's just do it. And I think the other jury member just kind of looked at him like, dude. But he was like, let's just do it. Like, he seemed very, like, he was having fun in that situation. And so I was kind of thankful to him because he kind of saved me in that moment. So I got the guitar, I played it, like I played a little bit of the song and it was all right. They didn't let me do the whole thing because again, short on time. But I played it a little bit, and then while I was playing it, the jury would be like, okay, now this is a music video. So look into the camera, because the camera was filming the whole thing. Like, there was actually a guy behind the camera, like moving the camera and everything. And they were like, now this is a music video. So look into the camera. And so, like, I tried my best to do that. I hadn't really practiced playing without looking at what I'm doing. I think that went all right because the person that initially like got annoyed with me over the guitar thing now seemed to kind of soften and like things were sort of working out. I remember that whatever monologue I had to do, they just asked me to do it like in different ways. And one of the ways was like, just pick one of the audience members and like recite this monologue as if you were trying to hypnotize them. And so I did my best. Then they at some point asked me to like dance to nothing, which was extremely awkward. And I don't think that went very, very well. And then the interview was kind of over. It was done. And once again, I thought, this is it. I'm going home. There's no way. Like, I thought this went very badly. But then came the end of the day and I got through. Yay. I will say, like, in hindsight, probably you should not be so willing to die on these hills where you're just like, I need to play this song with my instrument, and I'm like really gonna fight for that. Because like, yeah, they are short on time and you probably should just do what they say. So if I could go back in time, I would just do what they said. Even if I knew that the song was not gonna work. So that's just a tip, I guess. But moving on to day 2. This day was very interesting because it started out with them saying, the actors get a break. What? Actors get a break? Because they were like, we have also 6 director candidates here, and now they have to do their tasks. And the actors are going to be part of their tasks, but the actors are not going to be judged. Only the directors are going to be judged. And I don't really buy that either. The directors had 2 tasks to do. Basically, the jury divided us up into groups, again, us actors, and they would give each director like a group of 20 or 30 actors. And then this director had to come up with like a dance routine with all the actors. So this was one of the exercises, and then later on in the day we would have to perform the dance routine in front of the jury. So we had like half a day just to prepare that. The only thing I really remember from that was that I was physically very weak. And some of the elements that our director wanted to include in a dance routine, like I actually just physically couldn't do. And I was the only person who couldn't do those elements. Like I remember there was one element where we had to be all laying on the ground in a circle. And you had to like hold on to the person's legs who was like lying in front of you, and then there was a person after you who would hold on to your legs, pull down the legs of the person in front of you. That would like make the circle get smaller or something like that. Well, I couldn't even do that because as soon as I did that movement, I just pulled a muscle. Like just like that. It was just gone. Just like my muscle just was not cooperating, and the director had to just come up with a whole new element. So then I felt really bad about that because everything otherwise went very smoothly, and I think we did come up with a pretty good routine in the end. Then the other exercise or the task that the directors had was they were each given like a space within the school or around the school where they had to create a scene. And the requirements for this scene were that, again, they had to use actors, but this time they could choose who they were going to use. And since there were only 6 directors, like not everyone, like most people like didn't get chosen because you just can't really do a good scene for this task with so many people. So they would only choose a few people, each of these directors. And during the scene, the actors could not speak. Like, we were not allowed to speak at all. We had to play the whole scene, everything that happened, without talking. We could make sounds, but no talking at all. And the scene, the director could just come up with whatever they wanted to. I just remember time like going by. Like, there was a lot of waiting in general during the whole 3 days. Like, there was a lot of waiting. But on the second date, time just kept on going and kept on going, and like nobody had picked me for anything, so I just kind of assumed, okay, I didn't get picked for this, so it's like your time to start going home. And then that's when one of the director candidates approached me, and he was like, hey, like I would really like you to do like the main part in my scene. And like, of course, I was very happy to do that for him. And then he had also picked one other girl and 2 other guys for his scene. And then he told us the breakdown. His scene had to take place outside. So it was like by the school, like beside the school, outside. I was playing like a single mom who was like wanted to take her own life. It was actually like very dark for just one scene. But how the director set this up was that we had to practice the trust fall a lot. If you've ever done that, like the trust fall is like a very weird thing. Like it feels so weird. No matter what height you do it from, even just from the ground. But I had to do it from like I don't know, a meter or 2 meters up off the ground, like fall backwards. So the scene starts out with me running away from an attacker, which was one of the guys, played an attacker. I run away from this attacker and I find like an alley to hide in. He runs past me without seeing me. Since I think I'm now like safe, like I'm starting to calm down, then I go to sit down. I get out a smoke, like, and I start smoking. And this was really funny because like before we started practicing this, he was like, hey, do you smoke? And I was like, no. And he said, okay, but like, would you be willing to do it for this scene? And like, without really thinking about it, I was like, yeah, sure. And then it's like, he was like, okay, I'm giving you like my cigarettes and my lighter, like here they are. And like, you're just gonna need 1 cigarette and just don't light it up. Like, don't actually do it until we have to actually perform this scene. I ended up smoking in that scene for real. And probably didn't look very good because I didn't actually smoke. But I don't know, I didn't even really think about it. I was just like, yeah, sure. In that scene, I would sit down, I would start smoking, and then the other guy would appear and approach me and be like, hey, are you okay? And again, I'm reminding you that this all had to happen without any words ever being spoken. And we would like kind of start interacting, and then the other girl would appear who was playing his girlfriend, who now thinks that there's something very shady going on here. And she like starts... I remember that she had like, I don't know, it was like lay it off of a trash can or something. She was like waving that around, like going to like attack her boyfriend over this interaction. And like, I'm like My character is like, okay, like I'm getting out of here. As this girlfriend is attacking the guy, the boyfriend, my character steals the guy's wallet. But like she doesn't get away with the wallet because the wallet just like falls out of her pocket. And I remember the director gave me his wallet for this. This was actually kind of hard to get right because like as I'm running away, I have to like go through this like fence in front of me. And somehow at the same time the wallet has to fall from my pocket, but it was kind of a small pocket, so like I remember when we actually had to perform this scene, the fucking wallet would get stuck. Like I couldn't get it out at the right moment, so I was like a second too late. It was just so awkward. But anyway, we like for the rest of the day we just practiced that like over and over and over again, that scene. And it was so fun. That like this, out of all the days, this was probably the only thing that came close to any kind of like actual acting, to be honest. And it was so fun because we really got along with the other actors. And like I just remember being there, like the other girl who played the crazy girlfriend, like she was so good in that role that like every time we would like take a break from practicing the scene, we would both just like be like, oh my god, you're so good at the scene, like you're so good at you're so good in this role, like it's so fun to play this with you. And like we would both be that way with each other, and it was so fun. And honestly, that's the thing that I could have done. I could have spent ages doing that. Now finally day 3 rolls around, and I also find out that I get through to day 3. Before day 2 ended, the jury did give us actors one exercise to prepare for the next morning as well, which was just like, you had to do like some sort of commentary or something on like a social problem, or just like an issue or something that you feel is an issue, and like do it really creatively and then perform that the next day. And I think I picked something about social media and how social media is like destroying our attention spans or something like that. And I actually never ended up getting to do this thing because this was when I fell out. Like I fell out before I got to do this like final thing. And this exercise was part of the final thing. And so I never got to do it. But I do want to mention that this was kind of the hallmark of the whole experience all throughout all of these days, was that, like, especially for someone that was from farther away and had to drive all this distance back and forth all the time, it was extremely difficult to have any shred of creativity left in your brain at all. Because not only would you be completely overwhelmed by the whole environment the whole entire time, especially if you are an introvert, so just prepare for that if you can, but you can't really, because you know how people are like, oh, just go to the bathroom and like get yourself together. Well, you can't even do that because there are so many people that there's always a line going to the bathroom. So you're just in there like, I know somebody is there wanting to get into the bathroom right after me. And so it's like, time is running. Time is running, shit fast, the bear is coming. That's a saying we have in Estonia. And so all of your senses would be just completely overwhelmed by everything going on all the time. And then there's like all this endless waiting. And in a way it's good because that's often what it's like on like a real film set. Like, I know there's a lot of waiting. So it's, I guess, kind of good practice for that, I guess. And all the other time that you have just goes to like remembering the stuff that you have to do or being involved in the stuff that you have just been asked to do now. And every single day we got home at like 12 midnight or 1 a.m. only to wake up the next day at 5 a.m. to be there for 7 a.m. And I remember in the car, my mom was like, she also got so tired because for her, this was all waiting, like just waiting. And I was just like trying very hard to keep us awake. Like I was like actually making noise in the car and like talking, like very loudly, just so we would not fall asleep. And so think about it, like just to get home and it's 1 a.m. and for 7 a.m. next morning, you have to have this new task ready, which has to be like really creative and really well performed. And you have to like really remember what you're gonna do. You have to have it memorized by that time. And you have to come up with something that you're gonna do. That was absolutely insane. Like you had no brain cells really left for that kind of creativity at all, because you were just so tired. Before I end this video, I do want to leave you with the final words of the jury. There was a woman from the jury who said, "Okay, everybody, so now comes the final time we're gonna put the names on the poll. And so we just want to say this to you. No matter your result here today, like if you got in or you did not get in, just remember, we and this school are not the deciders of if you are gonna be actors or not. We don't decide that. This school doesn't decide that. You decide that. Only you can decide that. So we don't know if you're going to be actors or not, regardless of if you got in or not. So if this is really your calling and you didn't get in, then only you are the decider. Only you can really decide in the end. And that room, dead silent at that. And that's when they put the names up. And of course, that's when chaos started. And that's when some people really did run out to the room, like the ones that didn't get in, like would run out of the school crying, like sobbing. And I remember too, I was there too, sitting and crying in public. Like normally I wouldn't really want to do that. But in that moment, I honestly didn't care. And I mean, we're all actors anyway, so we're gonna be emotional. And nobody cared. Everyone just had whatever emotions that they had. No one judged you for it. And I would say that this experience definitely, especially because I didn't get in, right? And I was really hoping for this. Like at the time, that was my dream, to get in there. Because I really wanted to be taught. Like I wanted to have all these professors and get all this knowledge, and I really wanted that. And I didn't really want to go on this like journey all by myself, like on my own, try to figure this out. So I understand very well if you are out there right now and maybe you're watching this right after you did your audition and maybe it also didn't go well. Or you just didn't get in, like even if it went well or not, you just didn't get in. And now you're just like, man, like life is over. Like I thought too, life was over. I thought life is over now. And if you did get in, then congratulations. I actually am very happy for you. And I hope that you learn everything that you can possibly learn and put it to good use. But if you didn't, it's not the end of the world. It will give you, if you don't get in, it will give you this drive. Like if you really want to act, if you really want to be an actor really badly, then it will give you this drive to, I guess, prove yourself. I don't know, prove to everybody else too that they're wrong. Prove them wrong. Become an actor anyway. Don't wait for anybody else. Don't wait for anyone else to make you an actor. You just gotta find your own way. And it will give you that drive, like nothing else. This has been a very long video, but this was basically my experience. My auditioning experience. I have tried to tell it to you as accurately as I remember, but as I said at the start of this video, just remember it's not like a moment-to-moment recount of what happened, because it's just insane. That environment is crazy. And especially if you are in a bigger country than Estonia, then I don't know, it's probably going to be like 10 times crazier than what it was for me. And I will say too about the exercises, like as much as they are, you will probably be thinking like, what the fuck is this? Like, I really wanted to act and now I'm just doing weird shit. What is the point of that? Who's to say? The point might just be to see what you will do in that crazy situation. Will you freak out? Will you find a way out of it? Will you get really creative? I don't know. I'm not the jury. I don't know. I will say that acting is definitely a profession where you have to do some crazy shit and you have to do some embarrassing shit. And like you have to throw yourself like right into it. You can't really get embarrassed, to be honest, and you can't feel awkward. You just have to throw yourself into it. And so for that, I do think these exercises are good. They do test your ability to do that. Like, how are you going to swim out of this situation that we've just put you in? That's very realistic. But is every acting experience outside of the school going to be like the audition experience? I don't think so. I really don't think so. And the ones that I have had, not really. It's kind of really upped in there. Irregardless of if you get in or not, the jury is not the decider of if you're going to be an actor or not. The school is not the decider. You are the only decider. Because you do know that there are people out there who finish the school and then they don't even become actors. So it's only you. I do think that sharing these experiences, I don't think it's gonna be so different all across like different countries. I think everybody could get something out of somebody else's experience, and that's why I've decided to share mine with you here today. So I really hope you got something out of this, and I really do wish you best of luck if you are now going to do a drama school audition. And I'll see you in the next one.